Hello friends, it's Bob and I'll take you through the making of a game. It will not basically be a game, it will be a prototype, but it will be a reasonably complicated prototype that will be of Nuclear Throne. Like we will be trying to make a clone of Nuclear Throne as soon as possible, and I will be using all the new methods that have been uh, introduced in Game Maker Studio 2 in the beta 2.3 update. So stay with me. I have the sprites ready, so we'll straight on get down to coding. Okay, so I have a room, I have the sprites ready, I don't have the objects ready yet. I have two layers. The default instance layer I have named as layer player, and there is a background layer which I don't think we need, because we will be adding a tile layer. There will be many tile functions. If you don't know tile functions, even this video will be very good for you. If you want to get introduced to 2.3 Game Maker Studio, the updates that have been added, the features that have been added, this video will be great for you, because it will, excuse me, yeah, because it will not only teach you what what all they do and what they can achieve, but it will show you, this video will basically show you by implementing each of them in the game. And this is a serious game, like a game that we can even play for 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, so here we start. We will first create an object. Okay, one of the things about Game Maker Studio 2 after the 2.3 update is that now all these are removable. So if I don't need shaders, I can just press delete and it will be removed. And if I need shaders another day, I can just create a group name as shaders. And now if I want to add something into this, I can add anything. Like if I want to add shaders, I can add shaders. I can add objects into any folder. So it is as good as the original folder itself. So we will be first deleting all the stuff that we don't need. We don't need extensions for this video. And yeah, this will be a video series, and I'll try to post videos as soon as possible till the complete of this game. We will need some fonts. We may need some fonts. We don't need nodes right now, and we need objects. We don't need paths. We need rooms, scripts, sounds, and sounds I don't think we'll be needing now, but I'll let it stay by chance if we need to polish the game and get the feel. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll delete these folders. Yeah, so now first of all I'll create an object, create, and here goes the object. What's this? Yeah, here it is. So I'll name it as main. So main manager. So this is the object that will stay in the room. This is the first object that will stay in the room, and we'll try that no other object, we don't have to drag and drop any other object into the room. All other objects will be placed through code. So layer, so this is layer managers. This will be above all other layers other than UI maybe, but UI may not be creating right now. So yes, I'll be dragging in the main manager. This is an empty object, there is no script in yet, so we'll just see by running the game if what happens. Yeah, so nothing, right? And now what we'll do is we will first go into the scripts. First we'll try to create the background. In this video we'll try to create the background, and not the background, basically the tile set, the tile map. So for that I have a tile set, and I have basically three in Game Maker Studio. If you want to use a sprite for tile map, tile set as a tile set, then you have to give keep the upper left corner as empty, and then these two are ground tiles, and this is the this is your collidable tile. There is the wall tile. So this is very simple. I'm not going to complicate things. The player will collide in this, the enemies will collide in this, and this one is the ground sprite. I'll not be handling depth management, so if you are into that, means in this I'll draw everything above the wall tiles. There will be nothing behind the wall tiles, so this is not a perspective thing if you are looking forward to that kind of stuff. So I'll not be teaching you how to do that. That is, however, very easy by means adjusting the y value, the depth of a sprite according to the y value. So I'll close this. I have to assign this to tile set to a tile set. SPR tile set, I will have to assign it to another tile set. So what I'll do is I'll create a tile set here. Yeah, and then TS main. I'll just name it so that we can change it if required. Okay. Okay, now I'll have to give the size. So this tile set is basically 64 into 64. So each of the cells is the target size of one tile is 32 into 32. So it is a square of 32. So I'll have to give here 32. Then the number of, okay, it's not asking me for the number of cells. Maybe it will take it for default. Now I will close it. My tile set is ready. I'll try, what I'll do is now I'll create a script related to tile sets. So yes, now we'll come to the scripts. Now in Game Maker there has been a lot of change in the script. What they have done is, now you create a script and you can give it any name you want. I'll just give it, it is just a file name. It has nothing to do with your script name. You don't have to call the script. Means you don't have necessarily to call the script. What you have to call from your as a function is the script, this name, and you can change it. So I'll name it SCR tile set. Okay, tile set create. Now I will be, first of all, whatever I write here, and one more thing that is changed in Game Maker Studio is that whatever you place in the body of a script, it will be initialized by default. You don't have to call that script to initialize it. I am talking about this GML file. There is the script. I'm not talking about these functions. These functions you have to call, but these functions will be initialized. They will be the computer will recognize that there is a function. It will parse this function. It will know that there is a function. It will identify all the functions. And if I'm putting like global dot layer tile set is equal to, yes, so layer get ID layer tile set. Okay, now I'll give the same layer to a tile set layer, because, and I'll place it below the player, obviously, otherwise it will cover everything. So tile has to be in the background, and we don't actually need this background layer now, because since tile set will cover everything. But what I'll do is I will give it another color. So by chance if this is too offensive, So by chance I'll just reduce the saturation. Yeah, maybe this is okay. So by chance, if there is any problem, we will be able to know, like if there is any problem that our tile map is leaking somewhere though, so we'll be able to see this color and we'll be able to know. Now SCR tile set create. So what we'll do, I first got that tile set. Now I think I have to get a tile set also. Global is equal to tile set get. Okay, not tile set create, I don't know. Global dot tile set, tile map, tile. Okay, so this is the tile map. Layer tiles. No. Okay, layer tile, yes. Get set okay. So what we have to do is we have to go to this tile set and see there is no tile set selected. So we have to select this tile set, the tile set that we created here. Here we created a tile set from the sprite. We made a sprite and then we created a tile set. Now this tile set we have to assign here. Right, am I clear? I guess yes. So here we have to assign that tile set and we are done. So now what will happen, whenever we assign any index, basically what we do in the tile set, a layer of tile set doesn't recognize anything other than the index of the tiles. So whenever we assign 0, so this tile will be painted, and whenever we give 1, this tile will be drawn, and whenever we give 2 as the tile index, this tile will be drawn. So what I'll do is I'll just go there and layer tile, I don't remember the function exactly, tile, no, not okay, I think, okay, what I'll do is tile okay. So what I have to do here, I was actually referring, I paused the video to refer to the index, help index. So global.tilemap is equal to layer get layer tilemap get id, and then I have to give the layer id here. Yes, so now I have the layer means tile map. Now I'll try to set all the values of this tile map to, okay, now I have other functions, tile map set height and set width. These functions are there. Okay, now okay, what I'll do is tile map set at pixel, okay, 100 100. no, sorry, I have to basically tile map and element id. So tile map element id is global.tilemap, and I'll just see if this is the tile map element id only. Okay, this function is going to retrieve the tile map yes, unique id value of the tile map element. So this is going to return the tile map element id. So I'll give the tile map element id. What I'll do is I will just yes, there is like tile map get width and tile map get height is there. So what I'll do, I'll just tile map width is equal to and tile map height, tile map h is equal to, so that we don't have to get it again and again, we can directly use it inside the function. Now I will this is just a test code. Set at means at 100 I'll be setting at element id tile data. Okay, I think here I have to give the index, so I'll give it 2. 2 is the wall tile. Yes, so now we'll see. Now these things will be initialized. These things will be initialized manual initialization not required for these things, but this is your function. So this function is initialized, but as long as you call it, it will not be called. Like this has to be called to make it do what it does. So what I'll do, from main manager I will create the create event, and as a test code I'll just write scr yes tile map tile set create. Okay, is this the tile map? I have to create the tile map create. Yes, so now means I can write any number of functions in the same script file. So this is just a file, it has nothing to do with all the function names have to be different, of course, but I can put any number of functions in a file, in one IDE file. Okay, tile map index. So tile map is not okay. I think this initializes there is some mix up, I don't know. Maybe what I'll do then is I will create a manual function initialize all, and inside this I'll declare these global variables. Since these variables are global, they can always be referred from anywhere. Yes, so I have declared the global variable. Now before I call this, I will have to initialize all. This initialize all I'll be putting in another script that I'll name as initialize. This is the only this is the script in which I'll be putting all the initialization code in various functions, of course, not this one function. That is the reason I've dedicated a script to that name. Now I will go inside and I'll run this. Okay, global tile map index not set before reading it. Why is it angry on me? Oh, I have not, no, I have called the function, so there should not be a problem. Global.tilemap, layer tilemap get ID. Layer tile set. Okay, what I'll do is I will debug message and oh, am I doing something wrong here? Yes. Oh my god. Layer tilemap get ID global.layer tileset. Okay, so basically I have to initialize it via from the layer tileset, but I have initialized it from the tilemap. See, this was the mistake. So basically I have to initialize it from I have to get the tilemap ID of the layer tileset. So I guess this should work now. Yes, so our code is working. This is the first tile that I have placed. Okay, this is the first tile, so this is working. You can just pause the video and see and ask me in the comment if you have some doubts anywhere. So we have initialized it. I think now even it will work as it is without us having to call it manually here, but we have to place it outside the initialize all, like we have to place it outside the function, then I guess it will be called. See, I am placing it outside and we don't need to call this function now. Even now I think it will not show an error, because since it is in the main script, it will be initialized, or it will be read and processed before any object is called. Okay, there is a compile error. Okay, leave it. Maybe we will go like this as of now, our traditional way, how we handled it in GameMaker earlier. Okay, so this is the function. Now I will be giving it var. Okay, now I'll just bring up my yes, asap, right. Okay, now how this works is, suppose I have a grid here. Yes, this one is a grid. Now what my system will do, or how Nucleathron handles it, is it starts from a random point. It will not touch this wall, these walls in the whole process. The walls will remain intact, they will be left intact. So it will start at a random point and it will march some way, to one direction, and then it will change the direction, and then again it will change the direction, then it will change the direction. It may change this side as well, it may even merge this by changing like this, and then it will move like this. So we have to achieve this kind of a behavior to get our tile map. So you see, there if we place the player anywhere in any place, any of the means ground tiles, he is basically connected to everywhere. So it is a easy way of generating a random dungeon. So I'll show you how to do that in code. I'll keep it open for now. Okay, so var, I'll tell you what these variables are. First let me type it fast. Chance x, no, chance change is basically a chance. I'm shortening the variable name. Change is equal to %, right now. Okay, var px, this is the current x position where we have to mark a ground. Var px is equal to I global dot tile map, no, okay, tile map width, no, 1 2 global dot tile map width -2. Okay, it will not be taking 0 because the first will be 0, so that should be a wall tile, because we don't want the player to run out of the field or the enemy to run out. So we don't have to check anything extra if we do like this, like it is running out of the, because there will always be a boundary tile, the wall tile. And now global dot tile map width -2, so global dot tile map width -1 is your global dot tile map width -2 is basically, yes, global dot tile map width -2 is your will be the last tile that we may need to change. Will not touch the global dot tile map -1 because that should be a wall tile. Similarly, we will go for y. Py is equal to I random range h -2. Right now we will set at pixel tile map. Here we'll put px and py. Okay, now we'll see what the result is. I think we should randomize here. Okay, what we'll do is we'll randomize it once in initialize script. Before everything, if we randomize, then we have a good chance of getting a random number instead of the same results every time. Okay, we are getting it here, and then we run it again. We got somewhere else. Okay, but I don't know why we are getting only in the left corner. Okay, there is some problem. What is the global tile map width? Okay, now it is 75 75, which should be okay. Okay, so 75, I'll bring up the calculator. So 75 into 32 should be our room width and height. 75 into 32, yes it is, so it's correct. Now I don't know always why we are getting it very close to the left. It should be spread out evenly inside the room, even when in places where it is not visible. Okay, it is again coming here, means this is a strange thing that is happening. Oh, tile map set at pixel. Does it change the position of the tile map? I don't think. Set the cell within a tile map element. Yes, yes. So, oh, this, see, the problem that was happening is this is the pixel that I'm giving. Okay, so this px and py, it is a pixel. So basically if px is from 1 to 75, so the cell of px will be 0, that is 1 div 32, the tile width, or 75 div 32, that should be like 3, a maximum of 3 or 2. Okay, either it will be 0 or 2. So that is the reason it is always spawning in the left. Okay, so now what we have to do, this one basically either we have to give into 32, okay, or what we have to do is we have to change this function, not pixel, set, yes, I think this one, yeah. So if we set it, not at pixel, if we set it, it will set the cell number, and the cell number range is from 1 to 75. If we set it at pixel, then it will go to pixel 1, that pixel, and the pixel will be between 1 to 75. So if it is pixel number 75, even if it is pixel number 75, it will be just the third cell. So 0 1 2, so it will mark the cell with ID 2. Yes, now we are working. The tile is now out of the screen because the screen is very big, the room is very big basically, and the camera is small. So yes, that is what I expected. If we try it a couple of more times, we can see it even spawn inside the camera screen, but we'll not care about it right now. What we'll do is now we have marked the initial position, but I think marked is equal to 0, okay, and var2 is equal to maybe what, 75 into 75 is, no, 73 into 73. Okay, 4900. So I think 400 is a good number, or maybe we can increase it later on. We'll see how it's coming up. While is greater than 2, no, smaller than 2, yes, while marked as smaller than 2 marked. Okay, see, we can means many people will be what they will feel it easier to put this px and py inside, but then if I do like that, then basically what will happen is, oh yeah, so I have a cell here and then I have a cell here, 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 here. They will not be connected. So that is the reason we are following an algorithm to achieve this. Marked is smaller than 2 mark. Yes. Now px and py, these can move in 4 directions basically. No, the current position can move in 4 directions and that will be random. So we will choose, okay, tile map set px and py, right? Now the next px and py we will choose as if I random is smaller than percent, no, change. If I random 100 is smaller than change, so now we will see this. See, this will basically be the percentage. So this will become true only if only in 10% of the chances, that is change percent of the chances. So we'll first check this. If this is true, then we will be changing. Okay, so current direction I will give, I'll mark the direction with 2 vectors. Okay, here there is a good chance of means creating and using a struct. I'll certainly do that. Vector is equal to vx 0 vy 0. Okay, and here I have to give comma, otherwise the okay. Yep. Now this is a struct. This is something you may be seeing for the first time in GameMaker at least. So this is a struct. This is a structure. Now you will see how. Okay, I will just give it var vector so that because we don't need this vector once we are out of this function. So now what we'll do, I will initially I will be giving it a random value. Choose. No, I will maybe once I declare it, after that I'll change it. Yes, so vector has its vx as 0 and vy as 0. I think I can even make it x and y, and this will not be the x and y of the instance, so I can use its own x and y. Means vector has its own variables, and I think I can even give reserved names, because wherever I reference to them, I can reference them as. Okay, so this one is basically this value. Okay, so vector dot x is equal to, okay, I'll write a simple code, reset. So this is basically a function. I will create a function of the vector named reset is equal to function. This is how you create a function in a struct. I guess, why is it angry at me? Oh, reset. Wherever you means, if this is a field object, then it should be a colon like this. It should not be an is equal to, otherwise it will throw an error. So vector dot, so here I'll reset it first before entering the loop, and vector dot reset will basically, what it will do, if one, no, maybe is smaller than 50. So if irandom 100 is smaller than 50, we will be going in a horizontal direction. We will be going in a horizontal direction. But there is another thing. If we are already going in the horizontal direction, if x is, or maybe we'll call it vx, I don't know if this will work. If vx is not equal to 0, no, if vx is equal to 0 and vy is equal to 0, yes, if both are 0, so this is the first time when it is reset, then we have to do this. If irandom 100 is smaller than 50, so this is like 50% chance. I'll just write it down here. Vx. I am writing only Vx here because this is inside the vector object. So this Vx is same as this Vx, but if I am referring it outside, then I have to write vector.vx. Okay, so Vx is equal to choose -1 1. Okay, else Vy is equal to -1 1. Now if both are not equal to 0, this is first initialization. Both will be 0 only when only for the first initialization. So this is the first initialization. Else we will only be going to the perpendicular direction, because if we are already going in the forward direction, we don't need to go in the forward direction even after the change. That is one approach. Or another approach is you choose a random direction without any bias. So I'll go, okay, we will just choose a random direction without any bias and see how the results are. So we don't need this. And whenever Vx is valued, then Vy is equal to 0 and vice versa. So Vy is equal to 0. No, sorry, here Vx is equal to 0. If Vy is selected, Vx is equal to 0. Okay. I think we are good with the vector function now. I'll just put tab behind. Okay, so we resetted the vector. Okay, and now if change, if I have to change the direction, I'll reset the vector, and I don't need else, because even if we change the direction, we can still go in the new direction, right? So to make it smaller so that I have more content inside the screen. Yes, so I will remove this so that there can be more content inside the screen. Okay, and if whether there is reset or not, we will move one direction. Yeah, so now px is equal to px plus dot vx, vector dot vx. So px is equal to px vector dot vx, but I have to clamp it. Clamp it within this range, because we still don't have to touch the walls. Same thing we have to do for the py. Same thing we have to do for py. Okay. Yes, now px and py are changed. Now we have to, yes, now once this cycle is complete, the means once it loops from here, just a minute, yes, if it goes from here to here, so this is the main loop. Yes, this one is the inside this loop all the marking will be done, and I also have to increment one more important thing. I'll first check if tile map get is equal to 2, just the ground wall tile. 2 is the wall tile. Okay, I could have taken a macro, but I have not. If it is 2, then tile map and yes, so where were we? I just went away to attend a call. So, and here, yeah, we have to marked, increment marked. Okay, now before all this, there is something which we have not yet touched. What is that? We have to fill the whole room. Basically, we have to fill the whole room with wall tiles, and then we will be digging holes. Like, we are basically diggers. There are many digger games, right? So we will basically be digging hole inside the wall, means a complete set of walls. There will be no ground to begin with, and then this random position will be the first ground tile, and it will extend from here. So what I'll do is I'll just go into this var change. Yes, now before everything I have to mark the full as ground tile. How will I do that? There is no function like tile map fill. Okay, yeah, tile map clear. Okay, global dot tile map and 2. So all the tile, yeah, all the tiles are basically fill. Sorry. Fill the entire tile with room with wall tiles. Yes, and then here we are basically digging the hole. Okay, there is some error. Reset is the function. Why is it angry? Okay, here I have to put a comma. Here I didn't put a comma. That is the reason it was angry on me. So here I put a comma. Now it's okay. Yes, so we got something, but it is marking 0 and 1 and 2. So basically this is 3. This should be 3. What I'll do is I'll global dot wall is equal to 3. Yes, global dot wall is equal to 3. I'll just remember that. Wall tile maybe. This will be easier. Okay, global dot wall tile. Yes, it will not be, it will be 1 and 2. I guess this should work perfectly fine now. Yes, so this is what I was talking about. So we started somewhere and then we are moving randomly towards some direction, but the problem is that it is turning very little, so we have to increase the turn. Yes, so for this what we have to do is we have to tweak this percent and see what the results are. I'll make it 40. So the change will be more frequent. Earlier the change was very little. Oh, it's going in that direction and we don't have any way to see the direction. What I'll do is I'll just disable the camera for now so that we see the entire screen. Yes, now we'll see the entire screen and see how our map is going. Maybe it is getting created correctly. Oh, where is that now? Oh, not enable viewports. I'll just disable the viewport and now see. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. We got a dungeon. Okay, there's a very big map, but we don't have to care about all these areas. This will not be rendered simultaneously. GameMaker has a very efficient way of handling it. It will only be rendering what is very much required, and if you don't want to waste this much of an area, or means I have given this because yeah, the later stages you might want to make it bigger, or we may want to make the size random, ranged between one and another range. Like right now we are just giving 2 mark is 500, but if I am increasing this to 1000, then the map will be different, very much different. Yeah, see, now we have marked more number of squares, we have marked more number of cells as ground. So this is a bigger play area, and see, as I have told, the wall tiles are not touched. Okay, now we'll start the coding. First of all, we have to spawn. Okay, I think I will conclude here. We'll continue with the same tile in the next video. Please write how you feel about this video in the comments, because this is the first time I'm making videos, so I don't know a lot. I have used GameMaker for quite some time. I have used a lot of many other game development software, programming languages, but I have used GameMaker. I am creating videos like this for the first time, and that is the reason I may be fumbling a bit. Please let me know in the comments if you are able to understand this tutorial, and if you are not, I'll try what I can do to improve it. Please mention it. And if you like this video and the subject that I've covered, the way I've covered it, please like the video and kindly subscribe to follow on this tutorial and other series of mine. Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.